Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over 5 intermediate/advanced box fighting tips for console and controller players. With the removal of the pump shotgun and headshot nerf to the tac, the box fighting meta is a lot different now than it was before Season 3 began. Since most people prefer the charged shotgun, it's a lot harder now to make a quick edit and instantly deal a lot of damage with your shotgun. So now being successful in box fighting situations is even more about piece control and outsmarting your opponent than it was in the past. And because of that, almost all the tricks in this video revolve around those core skills. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first trick in this video is one you want to use against players spraying and trying to phase through your front wall. And with all the good SMGs and ARs in the game right now, that happens a lot. So when you recognize the player is spraying your wall and trying to phase through it, you ideally want to turbo build to replace it at least 1 or 2 times. That isn't necessarily a requirement, but it's a good way to lull the player into thinking that your only plan is to just turbo build the wall over and over again. So after you do that, you want to continue to hold out your building menu, but now start pressing your body against the front of the wall almost as if you're trying to sprint through it. And as soon as the enemy destroys the wall this time, you aren't going to turbo build it, and as they sprint into your box, you're actually going to sprint out of it, turn around, and immediately replace the wall they destroy. If done correctly, they're now effectively trapped on all sides in your box, and you obviously have control of all the pieces around them. So since you're outside of the box, you can easily reposition and make an edit play on them from a ton of potential angles. As long as you time this right, it's a trick that'll outsmart even really good players, and it takes almost no mechanical skill at all to pull it off. Plus, since the enemy has a fully auto weapon out since they're spraying/phasing, even if you mess up a bit and they shoot you as you escape, which is definitely rare, they're only going to deal limited amounts of damage since they aren't using a shotgun. It's something that nobody really ever expects when they're trying to spray walls and phase into a box, so you'll catch the majority of players super off guard if you use this against them. Our second trick is a really mechanically simple one, and it's another play you can make to go from defense to offense in a box fight. So the last trick was a way to deal with an enemy who is pressuring your wall, but this one should be used when the enemy actually gets into your box. Let's say they used a phasing technique to get in, but since you had a ramp in front of you while turbo building, which you always should, you now have one last line of cover so you won't just get instantly barrel stuffed as soon as they phase in. So what you want to do is edit out the box from either the left or right side wall, then once you're out, re-edit the wall, reset the edit you made to escape, and then make a one-tile middle window edit towards the side of the box the enemy got in from. So now you're going to have right-hand peek advantage on that window edit, and since the enemy is surrounded almost entirely by building pieces you own, the only way they can escape is by turning around and exiting from the front side. Plus, if you edit out fast enough to where they didn't even destroy your ramp, they won't even be able to place down their own ramp to protect themselves when you start shooting them. Now, even though this specific trick has become more popular recently, it's still something that very few people would be expecting in this situation. I know that if I phase into a box and see someone edit out the side, my first thought is always going to be, alright, now they're either going to box up again, or they're going to try to make some kind of play for high ground. The last thing I'd be expecting would be the dude to edit out the side, turn around, and then make an edit play on me. So I think that one's simple enough to where pretty much anyone can do it, but at the same time, it's really unexpected and effective. So our first 2 tricks in this video so far have been for the defensive side of box fighting. So for tip number 3, let's switch it up a bit and talk about something you can do when you're on the offensive. Even though it doesn't happen to me much because I have really good ping, this is something that you want to use when you try to break and replace or even phase through an enemy's wall multiple times, but they just keep turbo building it and you can't get it, probably because they have super low ping. So what you want to do is really as simple as this. Stop trying to pickaxe/phase, pull out your building menu, position your crosshair towards the middle of the enemy's wall, and then just hold L2/LT. What'll happen first here is that a ramp will be placed behind your back. That is, unless you already did that, because that's actually a popular start to a bunch of phasing techniques. So now, from your enemy's point of view, you just place this weird ramp behind your back for seemingly no reason, and you're super vulnerable with your building menu out, just staring at the wall with no cover whatsoever. What any decent player is going to think here is, alright, this guy's a bot, I'm just going to make a simple middle window or bottom corner edit and blast him. But since you're holding down LT/L2 and looking towards the middle of the wall, as soon as they make pretty much any kind of edit to open it, you'll instantly place a ramp inside their box, and then you can easily break or replace the wall and Mongrel Classic them or make any kind of simple edit since they can't build or protect themselves. Now, a big caveat here is that this obviously won't work if they already have a cone or ramp inside their box. A lot of players still don't do that, especially if they're confident they're going to be able to hold the wall, so make sure you only use this on players like that. Trick number 4 is another one you want to use when an enemy is pressuring your front wall. So the way this trick works is you're going to edit a middle window in that front wall, look through it, place a cone which as long as you're staring straight will connect to the top of the wall, and then build 3 walls connected to the cone which surround it on all 3 sides. That may look a bit clunky and kinda awkward in slow motion, and since you're peeking through the window, you want to make sure your enemy isn't pre-aiming the wall when you go to do this edit, but if you practice this, it really only takes one quick crosshair flick to build all 4 pieces. So if you can do that correctly, I don't think it takes a genius to understand why this trick is so powerful. You still should have control of the wall in front of you, and now you basically have your enemy totally boxed in, and there's literally no way they can escape by editing since you own all the pieces. They either have to turn around and try to spray/pickaxe one of your walls to destroy it, but since they'd be turning their back to you, that should be an easy kill. Or what most people do in this situation is place a ramp and try to break the cone up top, but then all you have to do is just keep spraying the ramps they place and barrel stuff them with your shotgun or SMG. Plus, if you want to go a step further to prevent that, you can actually place the cone and 3 walls the same way you did, but also place a ramp down as well. Sure, it's an extra button click that may make it a bit more mechanically challenging, but if you can get that ramp down to prevent them from building anything to protect themselves, you're gonna win that fight probably 90+% of the time unless you just absolutely choke. Our 5th and final trick today is honestly more of a tip than anything else, and it'll mainly be used in offensive situations. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, box fighting is a lot more about piece control and trapping your enemy than it's ever been before. And without a doubt, the single most important action to gain piece control over your enemy is by breaking and replacing things that they build. A great example of this that I've covered before is breaking and replacing the ramp/cone that the enemy has inside their box. If you're able to do that, it'll prevent them from being able to build and protect themselves, which gives you a huge advantage in that fight. Now, even though a good amount of players know this, something I don't see people do enough is actually using their weapons to break and replace the builds. It's very dangerous to pull out your pickaxe in box fights because it leaves you totally vulnerable since you can't return damage, and good players will frequently punish you for that. One of the most popular box fighting tricks is to edit your front wall and go for a shotgun shot as soon as you see the enemy pull out his pickaxe to try to destroy that front wall. So obviously a great counter to that is to spray builds with an SMG or AR and then replace them just like you normally would if you had used your pickaxe instead. This is a trick that's definitely pretty situational, but when I watch pros play things like box fight wagers, I see them do it all the time. Guys like Clicks and Unknown Army have become the best piece control players in the world largely because of this technique, and it's something that I'm really trying to implement into my game more and more as time goes on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. I want to know, are you someone who personally likes getting into box fights in Fortnite, or are you not really a fan and you watch this video so you can at least try to get better? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.